Hey everyone, long time no see. It's been about an hour and a half. My last Facebook Live, but I'm like continuing to move east. So, although I guess if I travel to Australia, I think the jets go up and over from
Depends
Alaska.
if you want to go the long way around.
Yeah, up and over. I don't know. But anyway, this is Dr. Jordenne Troy, and she's joining me from Australia. We're 18 hours apart. We just did a little bit of math because like we're really smart like that and can
So give
do
everyone a good day.
yeah,
A good
and
day,
nothing.
mate.
Good,
We
a
don't
good
say that. We don't say that. Like, strike that from the record. It's too embarrassing.
everyone that watches this is going to be like, oh my gosh, did she really just say that? And so, our conversation today is all about living from the inside out, which is something quite natural as chiropractors. And yet, yeah, I find that it's kind of like challenging for most when it comes to their business. So let's talk about like what are you learning right now in the boot camp with the sprint and reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh, so much. He is, yeah, one of my favorite authors, definitely. And I've been like wanting to reread this book for such a long time, and it's really sinking in. But mostly it's that instead of just relying on motivation and then also just trying to kind of force yourself to do things, it's really adopting that idea of becoming and the identity based habit. So it's really asking yourself things like, what would a business owner do, or what would a healthy person do, and then it's becoming that person and then adopting the habits of that identity rather than just trying to force yourself to do all these tasks that you think that you should do.
Yes. Because man, it's really easy to consume our levels of motivation, willpower, discipline. Like it's almost like outcome-based habits are effortful. If
Hmm.
I effort myself enough, if I drive myself hard enough, I'll finally get there. Versus if this is just like this is what somebody who's successful does. This is what somebody who wants to be healthy does. Like these are the habits that align with the identity. What are you noticing in your own practice and in your own life these last few weeks that we've been in the sprint in relationship to inside out?
So for me, like the biggest mindset shift is really for a long time I've just seen myself as a chiropractor, and then owning a business is definitely secondary. Like I identify very strongly with being a chiropractor, and then I'm like, who owns a business but also just kind of like works for Sam because I make her do all the businessy things. And like now I'm trying to get the mantra. I'm like, I'm a badass business owning bitch.
Yes.
And and it's just I'm making more decisions from that state, and I'm just finding it really empowering.
And what are you doing? Like, all right, so there's a shift on the inside that now you're seeing yourself as a business owner who is a chiropractor instead of a chiropractor who is a business owner. Like on a day-to-day basis, if we were observing you, what would be different?
It really comes down to the systems and then the communication, really. And I'm focusing more on, I guess, like those goals, and then like the outcome, instead of just being really more on a day-to-day basis. Because when I'm acting as a chiropractor, I'm just like focusing on person next, and then I'm focusing on just like the shift, and then it's like the next day, instead of thinking more about like the whole week or the whole month, or even until we go on holiday. Like I've divided it into like a chunk of time, and then it's just more focusing on like where do I want to be down the track, instead of just like, oh, I'm just getting through the day.
Yes. And I remember when we started coaching together, that was kind of where you were at. Like, all right, I'll show up, I'll get through the day, and then I'll just do this again tomorrow. Sam's
Hmm.
got everything else taken care of. And don't you find it's interesting? Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So let me ask you a question about it
Yeah,
instead.
put it in my mouth, do it.
Yeah. What's more like how is it more enriching and enjoyable this way versus the other way?
Like I was finding the way that I was doing it really draining, and I was always finding that I was tired because I was just not tired, but like that's just how I feel. I think I've realized when I'm bored, and when you're just like in Groundhog Day, and like you're just like, oh, here we are again. Like I'm just like, there's nothing stimulating about that, like I may as well just be working at a factory, kind of like, I don't know, unloading a box off a conveyor belt sort of style. And then it's like you wake up and you're like, it's again tomorrow. Oh, this little guy
Oh,
wants to say
it's
hi.
so cute. Making his appearance.
Yeah,
Good to see
he's
you.
good.
He's like, oh, mom, the camera's on. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
And isn't it funny how, I think that it's easy for us to make this story in our head that business is so hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's so hard, but yet your experience has been, and mine too, the more I see myself as a business owner, the more lighthearted I am about the things that I do versus if I'm just a technician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and being is believing. For
Yes.
anyone who hasn't made that shift yet, it may seem kind of awkward, but it really is true. And let's say that you're teaching somebody who's watching us how to do that. Like, what would be the steps someone would take to go from a chiropractor who is a business owner to business owner who is a chiropractor?
I think like what's been really helpful for me is asking that internal question of, instead of at first trying to make the decisions myself, because before adopting the identity, it sort of felt like I was faking it, or I didn't have the answer because I didn't know how to be a business owner. But when you ask yourself, what would a business owner do? And then I think about other people like you or Sam, and then I just think, oh, like, what would they do? And then it's just your brain, something happens in your brain where it's easier to find that answer. Like, whereas to me, I'm just like, if I ask myself, like, oh, what should I do? Or what would be the best thing to do? I'm like, ugh. But then if I ask myself, like, oh, what would Barb do? I'm like, fucking easy. She'd be a boss.
Yeah, she'd be a boss. She'd be like this and not this. And how awesome that it really is just a reframe.
Hmm.
And you already know, right? Like, you've been around the block long enough. You're raised in a chiropractic home, been around chiropractic your whole life and in business. And I think it's so funny how we trick ourselves to almost be like, well, I don't know how to do that.
Mm.
Sam's got it. I don't know how to do that.
It's such a cop out.
But don't tell her. Like, it's a secret.
It's a
We're not gonna
secret.
let you know. Yeah. Too bad this is on like the internet, but whatever. That's awesome. And what are you finding in terms of like even the connections with your practice members in like this new perspective or this new way of being?
It's deeper, definitely, and that's one of our part of our mission statement is really forging these deep compassionate bonds with people. And I'm just finding that I'm serving from such a higher level, so it's actually made me a better chiropractor, even though in a way I'm like not focusing as much on being a chiropractor. So it's so cool.
Would you have believed it if you hadn't done it?
No, exactly. Like when I remember doing our like first little interview before joining the boot camp, and it was just I was just so like, ugh, I don't know, like I don't really want to own a business. I just want to show up to work, and
Yeah.
like I don't like, I didn't choose this. I don't like blah, like I just felt really like kind of strong armed into it, and then that was so unempowering. And then just like I feel like you've just chipped away at me like bit by bit, and I haven't really even noticed that it's happening, and then all of a sudden I've just had these big mind shifts. But then I guess until you reflect, you don't even know. I'm just like, oh, I don't even have all those hang-ups about like money or about owning a business that I used to have. And I don't even really know exactly like when that shifted, but it's just been your little chip 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 chip, and then yeah,
Yeah.
a huge like leap then when you like look back on a couple of years ago.
Right? And that's what I love about like, vision shows us where we're going. And it's really important that we look back and see our progress
Yeah.
and see just like how far we've come. And there's also this thought that it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of hard
Too
work to make
work,
those
I'm too
mindset shifts.
tired.
What'd you say?
I'm just too tired for all that hard work, you know?
Hard work, and it's like thought.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
And showing up, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like you and Sam just joined the boot camp and then we're like, "Well, I hope this works." You guys have shown up and do private coaching. You've invested in yourselves doing the training outside of the boot camp and then showing up for sprints and being willing to look, see, tell the dirty rocket and stinking truth and take responsibility. Let's take this into that mission statement.
Mhm.
And what happened when you and Sam and I were working on your mission statement? Where like what was the awareness and then what happened?
We already had like a half-ass like mission statement when we started, and I think like neither of us could remember it. You were like, "Well, what is it?" We're like, "Oh, it's just like trying to help people to function better, obviously, Barb." And you were like, "No, that's terrible." Um which was offensive, but whatever. Um and then the more we like talked about it and then like really reframed and really looked at what is it that you're actually doing, and then yeah, we just completely reworked the whole thing to something that actually resonates and something that actually like lights you up, instead of just, yeah, I don't know, like a handful of words that you, I don't know, think that you should be focusing on, or
Yeah. And I think the the catalyst for it all was you ask somebody on your team a question. And they kind of stumbled through like I don't remember if it was like what is chiropractic or whatever. And you were kind of lamenting, like, I can't believe they don't know whatever the answer was. Like, well, tell
and
me
you're like, well, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I can't remember.
Yes. And that was such a for those of you who are watching now or watch this later, like this is the actress from the clip that I had on during the Business Plus boot camp when she said, "Wrap it up," and I about peed myself every time I watched it. I think I actually, during the Business Plus boot camp, rewinded it, and those of us who, like, know you indirectly were kind of all sitting in as I remember, kinda up front, and we were all, like, rolling, so it makes it that much more exciting that we're gonna get to see you and Sam here pretty soon at the Ultimate
Oh, I'm so
Marketing Boot Camp.
excited.
I'm
It's basically
so
like a month away almost. Yeah, I can't wait to actually meet everyone in person and to, yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait till you guys watch the, Branding Style Guide workshop replay.
Yeah, cool.
It was
It'll be nice to,
phenomenal.
like, not have to do it as a replay and to do it in real time and in
Yeah.
the, yeah, so excited to do it as it's happening.
Yeah, I'm excited too. No, the Branding Style Guide workshop I'm talking about is we did it today.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got that email.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you watch it, and then there are 2 more well, attend one. I have 2 different times because we're working across a lot of time zones for the next part of it. So as we wrap this up, what, what do individuals need to know about what's possible in the if they join the boot camp?
Anything. Like you'll arrive with one thing that you want to work on and you'll get it, and then you'll get so much more that you didn't even know that you needed. It's so yeah, you can arrive with your goals and the outcomes and the things that you want to do, whether that's, like doubling your income, or yeah, I don't know, buying a business, or yeah, identifying as a business owner. And you'll get it, and then you'll get all these side benefits that you'll realize were the actual main benefits.
Yeah. Well, it's like chiropractic adjustments, right? Like medicine
Mm,
has side effects and chiropractic has side benefits.
yeah,
So a lot of times people get started as a natural means to eliminate symptoms. And then they're like, wow, but my whole life has changed. And I feel like that's what happens with the boot camp, that everyone starts typically because they have a symptom. My
yeah,
practice isn't growing, or I want to hire somebody or whatever. And then all of this other beautiful, wonderful things happen, including like great relationships. And
Yes,
I'm so grateful for the relationships that have been cultivated in there and continue to grow. So anything else you want to say before we say c'est la vie?
I was just going to say that's what's so special about the boot camp is that we're not only getting you and your expertise, but it's also you're getting the benefit of everybody else that's a part of the boot camp. And there's just like such an amazing community of people that you can provide just as good insights and through their experiences. And yeah, it's just such a nice connective web of people. And it's, yeah, someone will always have the answer for you, you know?
I know. I'm contemplating not even showing up for the Ultimate Marketing Boot.
You'd get phone, sure.
You got it. You guys got this.
That'll last for about like a half a minute.
Where'd she go?
Where'd
No,
she
I
go?
cannot wait to be with everyone. Like, I know I'm gonna wish it was like a week long instead of just a couple of few days. So we'll just make the best of the time that we have together.
Well, hopefully it goes real slow.
Yeah, hopefully it will go slow. I know it won't, but I'm hoping for that. That's for sure. Hey, Jordenne, thank you so much for joining me and for being a great part of the boot camp. And I can't wait to see you in a few short weeks.
Can't wait.
All right. See you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.